Hello and welcome to this edition of Parliament News. I'm Rukma. Let's begin with news from the Lok Sabha. The high spots of proceedings in the Lok Sabha today were a special discussion on price rise and an impromptu virtual discussion on the reported Chinese incursion in Uttarakhand. During zero-hour, opposition members raised the incursion by Chinese troops in Chamoli district of Uttarakhand and expressed grave concern over the disturbing development. They demanded immediate steps to counter incursion and cautioned the government about intentions of China. The issue was raised by senior Congress member Jyotiraditya Scindia. He said China's People's Liberation Army had transgressed the border on land and by air in Chamoli district earlier this month when its men stationed themselves 200 meters inside Indian territory. Mr. Scindia, who was supported by his party colleagues, expressed surprise that neither the Home Minister nor the Prime Minister chose to clarify on the serious matter. Speaking in similar vein, Mr. Saugat Roy of Trinamool Congress said attack helicopters of the Chinese army had also transgressed into the Barahoti area and the Chinese army told an Indian revenue official there to go back. Samajwadi Party chief Mulayam Singh Yadav used the occasion to caution the government about the intentions of China. Contending that India faces no problem from Pakistan which can be tackled easily, he said there should be no bonhomie with China. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Anand Kumar said that for the government, the security of the borders and the unity and integrity of the country is above everything. Concurring with opposition leaders, he said the Indian Army was second to none in valor. He said he would bring the issue to the attention of the ministers concerned. Mr. Bhagat Singh Koshyari, BJP member and former Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, claimed that no such transgression had taken place. He said it was a usual occurrence that the Chinese troops come into the no man's land but soon go back. During the discussion, a remark made by Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan apparently offended the leader of Congress party, Mallikarjun Kharge, prompting him to say that he never expected such words from her. As Mr. Saugata Roy was speaking on the Chinese intrusion issue, Mr. Kharge and some other Congress members rose from their seats and started demanding a response from the government. Ms. Mahajan urged the Congress members to allow Mr. Roy to speak as he wanted to raise the same issue, but Congress members would not relent. An apparently annoyed Mahajan then said, "Please stop shouting." Her remark prompted Mr. Kharge to say, I quote, "We are not shouting, madam, we are putting our points. I did not expect such words from you," unquote. Ms. Mahajan retorted, "You all three are speaking at a time. If it is not shouting, then what?" After this, the Congress members went back to their seats but looked upset. A similar scene was created in the House by both Congress and BJP members when the Mahadai water dispute issue was raised. The issue caused the two parties to engage in a noisy verbal duel, compelling Ms. Mahajan to intervene and urging the members to stop quarrelling. She said, "This verbal spat will serve no one. If you quarrel among yourselves, the issue will not be sorted out and the purpose will not be served." Several opposition members also raised the issue of disappearance of AN-32 aircraft over the Bay of Bengal last week. Congress leader in the House, Mallikarjun Kharge, sought a statement from Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar on the fate of the Indian Air Force aircraft which went missing over the Bay of Bengal with 29 defence personnel. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Anand Kumar said the government, Defence Ministry and Air Force were working to locate the aircraft and rescue the people. The entire country is concerned. I will convey your message to the Defence Minister, Mr. Kumar said. Mr. Kharge said the Defence Minister should apprise the House as to what steps are being taken to locate the aircraft and whose mistake it was that the aircraft had gone out of radar coverage. Biju Janata Dal member Bhartrihari Mehtab said that despite joint exercises by the IAF, the Indian Navy and the Coast Guard, the missing transport aircraft has not been traced so far. During the post-lunch session, Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar made a statement on the missing AN-32 aircraft. After giving details of its flight from Chennai till it went out of the radar's view, the minister said that all the next of kin of the missing personnel have been informed and are being kept up to date regarding search operations. Indian satellites are also being used to search for floating objects, he said. The House then had a prolonged discussion on price rise. Mr. P. Karunakaran, CPIM, who initiated the discussion, said prices of food articles have risen more than ever before. He blamed the situation on black market and hoarding. He also alleged that the government has not passed the benefit of falling crude prices to customers. He said the government has neglected agriculture and farmers. Saying the Indian economy is largely farm-based, he asked the government to encourage farmers to produce more. Unless farm growth is increased, there will not be overall GDP growth, he said. Mr. Narendra Singh Tomar of the BJP said the price situation is being constantly monitored and remedial measures taken. He also highlighted the role of the Central Vigilance and Monitoring Committee for various government schemes. Mr. P. Kumar, AIA-DMK, spoke about how Tamil Nadu Chief Minister had reined in prices through various Amma schemes. Many experts have lauded Tamil Nadu's PDS scheme, he said, and wanted the centre to exempt the state from Food Security Act. Mr. Hukumdev Narayan Yadav, BJP, said the government's programs are meant to bring in long-term development. It will not bring changes overnight. Mr. Rahul Gandhi of the Congress said the government should set a date by which it will bring down prices of essential food items like pulses and vegetables. He quoted the food prices during UPA government and how to highlight the extent of the increase. BJP members who spoke after him countered the data and said most of the rise in food prices are due to seasonal factors. Mr. Bhartruhari Mehtab of the BJD said he does not doubt the efforts of this government. Despite efforts, inflation is moving up, he said. Both Congress and BJP-led governments have been unable to confront the demon of inflation. Of course, food is on fire, he quipped. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley made a brief but effective intervention in the discussion. He refuted charges made by the opposition, especially those by Mr. Rahul Gandhi. He said there was policy paralysis during the UPA regime and the NDA government inherited double-digit inflation from the previous government. Stating that the present inflation was due to seasonal factors, Mr. Jaitley said the government had taken several steps to control prices of essential commodities. Mr. Jaitley said the government made up for the loss of oil companies' past fall in oil prices on to consumers. Government's program of massive public investment in FDI have kept India the fastest growing economy for 2 years in a row, he said. The discussion was still continuing at the time of writing of the script. In the Rajya Sabha earlier in the day, a united opposition disrupted Rajya Sabha proceedings, protesting against making Aadhaar card mandatory for availing government benefits like subsidized LPG, PDS supplies and pensions, forcing 3 adjournments during the pre-lunch period. The House was first adjourned till noon, then for another 15 minutes and once again till 2 p.m. as the opposition uproar continued unabated. Opposition's TMC, BJD and SP had given notices for suspension of business to take up the issue, which also found support from the left parties and the Congress. Though their notices were rejected by the chair, members of all parties forced adjournments while protesting in the well. They also raised slogans against the government. While government clarified that the Aadhaar card issued to citizens was not mandatory for availing government benefits and necessary instruction to this effect were being issued, opposition members expressed dissatisfaction and trooped into the well. Minister for Information and Broadcasting and Urban Development, Venkaiah Naidu, said the act passed by Parliament provides that government benefits can be availed through Aadhaar cards. Aadhaar card is not compulsory, he said. If necessary, instructions will be issued, while taking note of concerns of members. Soon after the House assembled and listing of papers was done, Naresh Agarwal of the SP, Derek O'Brien of the TMC and Dilip Tirkia of the BJD said they had given notices under Rule 267, but Deputy Chairman PJ Kurian said their motion was not permitted. Ram Gopal Yadav of the SP said the centre has issued instructions to state governments to stop ration card benefits, pensions and subsidized LPG to those not having Aadhaar card. Derek O'Brien said the BJP-led government talks of cooperative federalism but takes decisions without discussing with states. Making Aadhaar mandatory will have serious repercussions across the country, he said. Dilip Tirkia of the BJD said with 20% of the population in Odisha do not have Aadhaar card, the instruction by the centre will only create problems for the poor. Naidu said the direct benefit transfer is need of the hour as it helps eliminate corruption, middlemen and leakages. The minister said Aadhaar will not be made mandatory till the entire population gets such cards or UID numbers. He assured the members that he will ensure that necessary clarification is issued at the earliest. Petroleum Minister Dharmendra Pradhan said people who have not got Aadhaar have been asked to get them in next 3 months, after which their LPG subsidy will be parked separately. It is not being cut, he said. Sharad Yadav of the JDU said decisions impacting poor should be taken with utmost sensitivity, observing that DBT is not just about having Aadhaar card, but the benefit has to go into bank accounts of beneficiaries. Tapan Kumar Sen of the CPIM said the the issue is linked to opening accounts and bank branches. Naresh Agarwal, SP, said the centre has sent 3 departmental orders asking state governments to stop supply under public distribution system to those ration card holders not having Aadhaar card, terminate their pension and subsidize LPG to those not having these cards. Sukhendu Shekhar Roy of the TMC asked if the government was aware of the October 2015 order of the Supreme Court that Aadhaar should be voluntary and not compulsory. Rajiv Shukla of the Congress said 68% of the population had been issued Aadhaar cards when the UPA was in power, but the process has slowed down during 2 years of NDA rule. Till the cards are issued, people should not be deprived of benefits, he said. Naidu said the process of issuing Aadhaar cards has to be hastened. Till now, 100 crore Aadhaar cards have been issued and some remain, and remaining work will be speeded up. But the members were not satisfied and trooped into the well of the House, raising anti-government slogans. Deputy Chairman P.J. Kurian termed the situation as very unfortunate and said, "You raised relevant points." Minister responded, "Now what is the need for the obstruction? This is unfair." When the House reassembled at noon, the question hour also became a casualty as the opposition members continued to protest over making of Aadhaar card compulsory to avail various benefits. Despite pleas by Chairman Hamid Ansari to maintain decorum and allowing question hour to function, members of the Congress, the Trinamool Congress, Samajwadi Party and JDU came and entered the well and shouted slogans. Naidu also said this was unfair as he was already given an assurance to the House in this regard and the matter has been discussed already. The Rajya Sabha also took up a calling attention motion on high prices of essential medicines in the country. Replying to the discussion on the issue, Minister for Chemicals and Fertilizers Anand Kumar said the government is considering making the voluntary uniform code for pharma marketing practices compulsory and would open 3,000 Jan Aushadhi outlets across the country. The minister admitted that voluntarily uniform code for pharma marketing practices introduced last year to stop unethical practices was not working well. We are contemplating making it compulsory, he said. He said availability of good quality medicines at reasonable prices was a high priority area for the central government and hence it has brought out a revised national list of essential medicines and including more medicines in it. Kumar said his department is also taken up with the Health Ministry to make it mandatory for doctors to prescribe generic medicines and allow pharmacists to substitute generic medicines for prescription in brand name medicines. He said the government has also advised major manufacturers and importers of coronary stents to voluntarily reduce MRP of their respective marketed coronary stents. Kumar said there were 17 states in the country which have initiated a free medicine program for their citizens. He said the remaining states have also assured the government that they will have a plan in place by this year end. Supporting the motion, Samajwadi Party leader Naresh Agarwal suggested jail term for those who exploited the poor in the name of health care. That brings us to the end of this edition of Parliament News. Coming up next will be Sansad Samachar. Namaskar.